Hello, it's Nikki. How are you doing? I've got so many layers on, which I keep taking off again. I have no idea what my temperature is doing, but I am negative, I am clear, I am out of the woods, I'm delighted. It's been quite the time with us all being at home. Anyway, I did my first speaking gig today. I've got another one later, and I want to talk about a word today that always splits the audience. And it's often split my focus as well. And that word is data. So this morning's talk was all about personal branding and building your personal brand and the benefits of it and so many good things. And one of the things that I always talk about in my speaking gigs is collecting the data as quickly as possible. What I mean by this is actually not spreadsheets. Sometimes it is, but sometimes you can gauge what's going on by collecting data. What the temptation can be when you're starting your own gig is to develop everything and to do everything and get everything perfect. So for example, if you are creating a bakery, you might think, right, I've got to nail my bread, I've got to do my cupcakes, I've got to do my croissants and my cinnamon rolls and get an amazing coffee, and I've got to nail everything before I take that first step. And what can happen is that you are doing a lot of that perfecting. You're doing it blindly because you're doing it all behind the scenes, trying to get it perfect before anybody is actually tasting it. And often the way to know if you're nailing it, if your intention is to make sales or to sell something or build a customer relationship, you need the customer or you need the person to be able to taste it and give you feedback and have a conversation. And you learn so much by doing all of the things. And I've often seen this throughout my own career or running my own personal brand, that there are some times where I've sat on ideas for ages and ages. And then there comes this moment where I put it live or I do something, and then it feels like suddenly there's a response, that things change very, very quickly. And usually that is because nobody's going to buy the thing or notice the thing or engage with the thing unless you actually show them the thing. So when I was doing my talk this morning and I was talking about collecting the data, I was talking about it within the context of getting things out there, getting things in motion, starting where you are right now and having a conversation and getting that feedback, because then you can tweak, it's almost like trying to get a massive sofa through a small doorway. You have to do the thing. Once you've done the thing, you're like, it's never going to fit. Right, okay, what are we going to do? Right, we've got to flip it. We've got to take the cushions off. We need somebody else. Okay, you go there, I'll do that. That's when you start to know whether the thing's actually going to happen or not. You can all sit round going, gosh, yeah, it does look like a small doorway. Yeah, it does look like a big sofa. Okay, I don't know. You have to actually try the thing. But there's definitely something to do with the word data. And I think that this is ingrained in perhaps the way that we are educated. And I'm noticing certainly from the way that my son is educated, he's 6 and in year 1, it's very, very different. And so many, I guess, of the principles of the way that I was educated feel very outdated. It feels very binary. It's like you're this or you're that, or you're creative or you're intelligent, or you're good at it or you're not. And we know as human beings that things are much more nuanced than that. There is a spectrum. So when I say the word data, the camp of people who are listening to the talk usually fall into two spots. One, some people's ears prick up and they're like, oh, great. Oh, I love data. Oh, logistics, practical, spreadsheet. Yeah, organized. Let's do this. Yeah. And sometimes I'll say data, and the other half you can see you're going, oh, that's not for me. And they almost like take themselves out of this equation. And I think the thing is about data is that whether or not, or however you see yourself, whether you see yourself as a creative or whether you see yourself as a logistics person, we have to learn to have a bit more of a pick and mix skill set. And even though we might have a front runner and a really strong second of our skill set, we have to have an idea of the other stuff behind the scenes. And so when I talk about data, I basically mean getting into conversations with people, or opening the doors and inviting people in, or sending an email and seeing if somebody replies, or asking somebody to do a survey of how much they would pay for this, or asking somebody, do you want to try this coffee? Do you like this cake that I made? Do you think that this would work? Tell me, all of this stuff. And I think, especially as the last 2 years have thrown up many questions, answers of like, what am I doing? Where am I going next? What does the internet want me to do? What is the internet not doing? I know there's so many marketing conversations at the moment of people saying that their relationship with social media and the internet is really changing. But I want to ask you today, what do you need to do in terms of your data collection? And this could be you setting aside an hour a week and going, what's going on? And it could be like, what have I done this week? Has anything worked? Okay, that was good. How many sales have I made this week? Did I have any inquiries? Did I connect with anybody? Did I actually spend my time doing things that would get me closer to where I want to get to? And what is that place? Where am I trying to get to? Sometimes we need an hour, and you can do this on a walk, a run, a yoga class, or pen and paper, or sitting at your desk, and ask yourself those big questions. Because the temptation can be, especially if you are a creative, so I would say I am logical, I am practical, but also I'm fundamentally a creative. I feel into things. I acknowledge how I feel about them, how they feel in my body, what I'm led to, what my instinct's saying. I have learnt that my skill set allows me to keep on creating. Whenever there's like, I'm never one of these people who's run out of ideas. I'm never somebody who's like, I'm just stuck. Like, I don't know what I'm talking about. I just don't know where I'm going. There's always something that I can do. So even like dealing with a lot of estate agents recently, I'm like, is there a business model where people can learn about estate agents and how to handle the whole process? Like, why has nobody done that? Maybe they have. But I couldn't find it. It's a really interesting one for me because I can quite easily fall into that trap, and it is a trap sometimes, of just continuing to create. And what I've had to learn to do is to be a bit more analytical, is to stop, reflect, check in, ask myself what's going on, what's working, what do I need more of? And also within that conversation, understand that it's okay to stop, and it's okay to do more with very little, rather than being all of the things, all of the packages, all of the services. I can be this, I can be this. It's like that song, I can be blue, I can be la la la. You know what I mean? Yeah, so it's been a really interesting process. And what I want to say finally is I've had to change my relationship with data and that word. And I've almost had to take that word of data, because I know what it means. It's basically pulling together information to be able to make a decision. I've also had to list different ways that could show up. So actually sitting and inputting stuff into a spreadsheet, even though I have to do it accountancy wise, I don't necessarily want to write going, I had 3 conversations on Instagram today with people who are interested in my services. Maybe that would work better. But I know that it's much more nuanced than that. Like, I don't want to just have the numbers. I don't want to just have the quantity of going, I had 7 inquiries today. I want to have that sense of, I feel like there was rapport with 3 of them, or whatever it might be. So I invite you to change that data. I invite you to see what you need to do. What is your data? What is your business asking you to do? What does it want you to notice? Because once you start to notice things, you'll start to notice what's really working, and you can just do more of that. And then you can have a night off and have a nice time and work less and work smarter and all those good things. I hope that's been useful today. I will also add it as a podcast. If you're listening on the podcast, hello. It's also on Instagram. And I'll catch you again very soon. Lots of love.